This is Matador News, and these are today's headlines. President Trump says he wants to add a sixth branch to the U.S. Armed Forces, and the Dodgers lose an all-star for the rest of the season. Hello, and welcome to Matador News. I'm Claudia Flores.
And I'm Thomas DeJesus. For 8 of the 100 Central American migrants who traveled for a month to reach the San Diego border in California, their asylum process has begun. Among the 8 who were allowed in by the Border Patrol are 3 women, 4 children, and 1 teenager. Asylum seeker Isabel Rodriguez says they want a better future for their families, and escaping the gang violence and crime they are facing in their homeland is the only way to achieve that.
We want to work. We don't want handouts. We want a better future for our family.
U.S. immigration lawyers say asylum seekers are facing possible separation from their children and prosecution for anyone making false claims to U.S. authorities.
Leaders of South Korea, China, and Japan are set to meet in a summit next Wednesday in Japan. They're planning to discuss North Korea's nuclear program now that North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has placed the program up for negotiation. He says he has suspended nuclear and missile tests. This comes after he met with the leader of South Korea last week. Today, the divided Koreas have removed the loudspeakers used for years to blast propaganda across the border. Many see this as a step towards reconciliation. Kim Jong-un has said he is willing to give up his nuclear program if the U.S. pledges not to attack North Korea. President Trump plans to meet with Kim Jong-un in a few weeks, in the first summit between the two countries' leaders since 1953. South Korean President Moon has said President Trump should receive the Nobel Peace Prize for reducing tensions with North Korea.
Israel has gotten involved in the controversy over the Iran nuclear deal. President Trump is due to make a decision about extending the deal later this month. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu accused Iran of blatantly lying about its nuclear ambitions at a news conference in Tel Aviv. Netanyahu told CNN he's adamant that Iran is lying about their nuclear capabilities.
This is a very important subject which relates to our quest for peace and security in the Middle East and the world. And I thought it was important that the broadest audience possible would hear the dramatic findings that we found about Iran's secret nuclear weapons program.
Meanwhile, Israeli airstrikes in Syria have killed more than 20 Iranian soldiers, and some U.S. officials fear future conflict between the two countries over control in Syria.
CSUs have made a decision about tuition for the 2018 to 2019 academic year. With reactions from around CSUN, here's Matador News reporter Rico Bruce.
Thank you, Claudia. California State universities across the state will not increase tuition for the 2018 and 2019 school year. California lawmakers say they understand and support students enrolled in higher education. And CSU Chancellor Timothy White says the CSU Board of Trustees will not increase student fees by 4%. The 23 campus system will instead focus on gaining more funding from the state to invest. After hearing the news, CSUN students expressed their thoughts on tuition.
I think it'll help us over time because it will give even more students an opportunity to come to school, because I feel like with higher tuitions that stops people from going to school, and then even later on while we're paying this tuition off, it'll be faster for us, so it'll give us more opportunities to do more things.
Yeah, I feel like I'm getting my money's worth at CSUN right now because generally it's less expensive here than other universities, but it kind of sucks that people who are less advantaged have to pay more for school here, so yeah.
Assistant Director of Student Outreach and Recruitment, GiGi McGuire, says students will save more money over time.
Definitely it'll save them some money, and if a student's not getting financial aid, it'll definitely help them because they won't have to come out of their own pocket for extra fees. I think it's good too because if a student is close to graduation, even within a couple of semesters, it'll help them because again, they don't have to try to figure out how to get extra money to pay for college. And then some students are working, so they don't have to feel like they have to work harder or get more hours or drop classes and get, work more hours so they can pay for it.
With nearly 40,000 students and 350,000 graduates, this is a great step towards student success here at CSUN. Now back to you, Thomas, in the studio.
LAUSD is naming a new man in charge. Austin Buettner will reportedly become the next superintendent of the second largest school system in the nation. For 3 months, LAUSD has been searching for a new leader. Buettner is a former investment banker. He has no background as an educator, but he's been very involved within the LA community as of late. He will be the 6th superintendent in the last 10 years. He will replace Michelle King, who stepped down because of a cancer diagnosis in January. In other educational news, teachers in Arizona, Colorado, Oklahoma, and Kentucky are protesting a fourth day for higher pay. In Arizona, 1,000 schools are closed because of the walkout. Most of these states' officials have started negotiations, and the teachers say they are waiting for proposals. Teachers in North Carolina and Louisiana are also threatening to strike.
A 26-story building in Brazil collapsed after it caught on fire on Tuesday. At least one person died. More than 150 firefighters battled the blaze that ran throughout the Sao Paulo building. The office building had been vacant, but about 50 families were reporting living there illegally. The governor of Sao Paulo said the building was an accident waiting to happen because the people resisted leaving. Police say alterations made by the squatters made the fire spread more quickly. This incident is expected to shine a light on housing problems in Sao Paulo.
President Trump awarded the U.S. Army West Point Black Knights football team with the Commander-in-Chief trophy. President Trump says it was an honor to present the trophy.
No higher honor as president than to serve as the Commander-in-Chief of the United States Armed Forces. And I truly have no greater pleasure than to award the Commander-in-Chief's trophy for the first time in 21 years to the Army Black Knights.
Army's football team was given the award due to their win in the final matchup against the Navy. The trophy is given to the military team that wins the triple threat matchup between Army, Navy, and Air Force. The Air Force won it last year for the 20th time. During the ceremony, President Trump mentioned again that the U.S. military might add a 6th branch, the Space Force. The billions of dollars approved for defense spending could mean the Space Force will be added and maybe compete for the Commander-in-Chief trophy in the future.
Pope Francis prays for peace in Syria and is encouraging the world to do so. He has made repeated pleas for an end to the 7-year civil war. The U.S. said the days of ISIS controlling territory in Syria are coming to an end. The U.S. also said it will defend Syria if attacked. President Trump says he wants to pull out U.S. troops as soon as ISIS is defeated.
It's May Day, and protests are taking place all around the world, including downtown LA and cities in Asia and Europe. The march in LA has just started in Pershing Square. Los Angeles police are warning about traffic. In Indonesia, about 10,000 workers from different labor groups rallied near the presidential palace in Jakarta to voice their demands. The protesters proposed that the government should raise their wages. They also asked the government to stop foreign laborers from working in Indonesia, saying it decreases employment opportunities for local workers.
Now let's go to Melissa Rodriguez for the latest business news.
Experts are saying the Apple iPhone X could be discontinued this year. Analysts have looked at earnings from Apple's top suppliers for parts, citing low earnings from those companies. Low demand for parts means low production of phones, which supports the lower than expected sales number for the iPhone X this year. One of Apple's biggest suppliers, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturer, or TSCM, is experiencing record lows in sales this year. Apple will not be buying any more components for the iPhone X parts. Too many parts and low sales numbers is an indicator that Apple needs to burn off excess inventory. iPhone X will continue to be sold, but no new ones will be made. Rideshare company Uber is facing more legal troubles this week, with the release of a report that says 103 drivers have been accused of sexual assault. CNN released a report gathering public data from police reports involving Uber drivers, and the California Supreme Court also reclassified who qualifies as an independent contractor yesterday. The decision makes it easier for drivers to get some accountability from the company when issues arise. Independent contractors don't have as many rights as someone who is classified as an employee, such as overtime pay, workers' compensation, and unemployment insurance. Uber drivers are assigned independent contractor status when they drive for Uber, but the new law redefines independent contractors as those that work in his or her own independent business. A spokesperson for Uber says that safety is their top priority, and changes to the way Uber handles passengers' emergencies will be introduced this year. Now let's go to Aaron Peeples with health news.
Thank you, Melissa. The U.S. government is looking for 1 million people to share their DNA for research. The National Institute of Health is looking for people willing to share their next 10 years of health habits to create a national database. It's calling the All of Us Project. The data will be used to learn more about how diseases affect people with different lifestyles and health habits. Congress has approved a $1.5 billion budget to fund the project for the next 10 years. 26,000 people have already signed up to be part of the project. Participants have to be at least 18 years old, but the research will include children at some point. The FDA reports investigators have narrowed the source of the contaminated romaine lettuce to a farm in Yuma, Arizona. 98 people have been reported sick after the outbreak. It's the worst outbreak of E. coli since 2006, when illness traced to spinach killed 3 and sickened more than 270 people. The CDC says although no one has died from the outbreak, everyone should avoid eating romaine lettuce unless they are positive it wasn't grown near Yuma, Arizona. Let's go back to Melissa with news and entertainment.
All 5 members of NSYNC reunite for the first time in 2 years to receive a Hollywood Walk of Fame star on the anniversary of their first album. Carson Daly and Ellen DeGeneres were there to pay tribute to the former teen idols. Daly says he was honored to be there for another milestone in the career of NSYNC. Justin Timberlake says the other 4 members are like family to him, and he is proud of their accomplishments. Ashley Judd is the latest alleged victim of sexual harassment to sue producer Harvey Weinstein. Judd says Weinstein made inflammatory statements about her that hurt her career and prevented her from being cast in Lord of the Rings. The lawsuit claims Weinstein was retaliating against Judd for rejecting his sexual demands approximately 1 year earlier when he cornered her in a hotel room. Lord of the Rings director Peter Jackson revealed Weinstein's comments about Judd in an interview last December, a few months after Weinstein began facing allegations. A lot of exciting movies were released in theaters this weekend. One of the top films to top the box office was the new Avengers movie. Matador News reporter Karissa Preciado is in the newsroom with more on the film.
Thank you, Melissa. Marvel's Avengers Infinity War hit theaters this weekend. A movie 10 years in the making, it's the highest grossing film in box office history. The film made over $725 million in its 6 days of release at the international box office. We spoke to some students, and this is what they had to say.
I love the Infinity War movie because it left me wanting more. Not because it was there was a little bit that happened, but because there was so much that happened that I can't wait to see the next one. And I think that it's so cool that
I haven't seen the movie, but I'm like super excited. I'm trying not to like see spoilers or anything on like Twitter, which I already have, which sucks. But I'm excited for it. I love the movies. It's really cool to see everyone together. And I no doubt that it would be like one of the highest grossing films.
The Avengers movies was spectacular because of the plot, the great plot, and me being a DC fan, it just blew me away with the backstory of all the characters.
The film is set to be at the top of the box office again this week. Many fans were left in shock after watching the ending scene, leaving them with a cliffhanger. Judging by all of the reactions from everyone, this is definitely a must-see movie, so be sure to go watch Marvel's Avengers Infinity War. Now back to Aaron with the latest in sports.
Injuries continue to mount for the defending national champions. Outfielder Yasiel Puig was placed on a 10-day disabled list on Sunday due to a hip pointer and foot bruise suffered on separate plays. Saturday, Rich Hill had his disabled list stint extended due to a raw finger infection. Third baseman Justin Turner has started hitting from a tee, and last week after 5 weeks on the DL, and now last and probably worst, shortstop Corey Seager will undergo season-ending Tommy John surgery. Seager said he was feeling good until he had a few bad throws, but irritated his elbow. The Dodgers lost last night to the Diamondbacks to start the 4-game series. Tonight, Clayton Kershaw will face off against Matt Koch to try to even the series. In hockey, the Tampa Bay Lightning evened the series against the Boston Bruins by a score of 4-2. Braden Point led the way with an empty net goal and 3 assists for the Lightning. Andre Paint scored off a Brad Marchand turnover for the game-winning goal. Game 3 will be Wednesday in Boston. San Francisco Jimmy Garoppolo did not bring San Jose Sharks luck in Game 3 versus the Las Vegas Knights. Jonathan Marchessault passed to William Karlsson, who took the no-look pass to Riley Smith for an easy goal, showing some extreme chemistry to put the Knights up 3-1. And then William Karlsson capped off the game with a goal 8 minutes into overtime. The Knights lead the series 2-1 with Game 4 set for tomorrow in San Jose. The Boston Celtics continue their improbable run through the NBA playoffs, beating the Philadelphia 76ers in Game 1, 117-101, without 3 of their top 5 players. Gordon Hayward has missed the entire season, Kyrie Irving has been out for 7 weeks, and Jaylen Brown also missed last night. When one player, or 3 in this case, go down, another steps up. And in these playoffs, Terry Rozier is the guy taking the step. The 76ers put up a fight, but couldn't keep up with the Celtics' 3-point barrage as they shot almost 50% from behind the arc. On top of that, Terry Rozier put up 29 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists while shooting 7 for 9 from 3-point range. The 76ers will have their chance to even the series in Game 2 on Wednesday in Boston. Now let's go back to Claudia with more news and weather.
Showers are expected later today, so be sure to bring a jacket. Today will be mostly cloudy with a high of 59 and a low of 50. The rest of the week will warm up and we'll see mostly sunshine with a high of 90 degrees on Saturday.
Brazilian surfer Rodrigo Cocha set a new world record and received an award for conquering a massive wave back in November. He was just honored at the 2018 WSL Big Wave Awards in Santa Monica, California. The wave Cocha rode was measured at 80 feet tall, which is the new Guinness World Record for the biggest wave ever surfed. The jet ski is the larger image off to the right, while Cocha can be seen by following a diagonal trail in the water from left to right toward the middle of the screen. Cocha almost lost his life to a big wave in 2014 at the exact same location off the coast of Nazaré, Portugal. Cocha won the biggest wave award and a $25,000 prize. Thank you for watching Matador News. I'm Tom Jesus.
I'm Claudia Flores.
I'm Aaron Peeples.
And I'm Melissa Rodriguez.